healing trauma, why it's so important, why so many people are talking about it right now, and why it's really important to help you develop your psychic abilities, okay? A lot of people don't realize this, but there's a bigger reason to a lot of the conversations we're having about mental health and mental wellness. And part of that is to really empower y'all to start to tap into those supernatural abilities that y'all already have, okay? So today I wanted to talk about that. Okay, so that's what we're gonna get into today. Um, Sorry about my voice. I had I had a fun weekend. I had a fun weekend. So I'm excited to start this week off with y'all, and I'm really excited to bring y'all this knowledge, this truth. Okay, so healing trauma. It is so important to start healing trauma, but there's two things that I want y'all to get before we even get do a deep dive into it. It's two big things, okay? So first of all, if you feel that you have to heal or you have trauma that you feel needs to be healed, then you have to start to do that healing work with intention, right? Put a time limit on how long you're gonna be working on your healing journey. Put intention on like what you're going to do to heal that part of yourself that needs to be healed, okay? Don't try to, yeah, I see a lot of people that get caught up in this healing loop, this healing cycle. And that's what it is. It's a cycle. It's like, you go to therapy or you do workshops or you do some kind of healing practice with an expert, and it seems to like, oh, you build up to it, you heal that thing that you need to heal, and then you go back down again. And you keep on going up and down, up and down, up and down. You never really escape that loop, right? So I really want to empower y'all to start doing that. Start escaping that loop, that trauma loop, okay? Those cycles. And a lot of the cycles that we experience it through interactions with people, through when you like start to have like the same interactions but with different people, that's part of the healing loop or the healing trauma loop that the universe is trying to get you to become aware of so you can then step out of it, right? The other thing that I wanted to mention, right, is kind of the quick way out of, not, I don't want to say out, but the quick way to releasing trauma out of your body, especially, is to just go for your passion. Do what you're passionate about, but do it for the majority of the time that you have, if you can, right? Because once you're in that like heightened energy state, which is what happens when you're in your passion, when you're doing your passion, when you're doing like what you're here to do, it's really going to help you just raise your frequency and also raise the frequency of those around you too. And so because it puts you in that state, there's no room for trauma anymore. There's no room for feeling hurt or victimhood energy, because you're like, I'm not a victim anymore. I am now empowered. I am now in control of my environment. I'm now, I won't say in control, but like I am now the creator of my reality, right? So you got to step into that energy. It's so important. A lot of people, they make the mistake of not truly knowing who they are. And I don't want to say it's a mistake either, right? It's just we're programmed to not know who we are. So you really have to kind of tap back into that energy. It's so important to do that, because it's going to be the quickest way. This is for some of y'all who are like, I've done some healing and I'm kind of done feeling, I'm done. I don't want to say I'm done feeling these emotions, but I'm done doing the work. It's been done. I'm ready to move on. I would start to tap into your passion. I know a lot of quantum leap experts also, they talk about this, spend 80% of your time doing what you love to really help you get into that heightened energy. And it's true. It's the same thing for your psychic abilities or your superpowers. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You really want to just raise your energy, change your state, change your energy state, so that you can kind of like leap up to where you're supposed to be, leap up to get the abilities that you're meant to have, leap up to like those times when you were a kid where you really thought, you were a superhero, or you really like believe that you had like supernatural abilities. We're really supposed to be in that state even as adults. I put that in quotes because I feel like a lot of us, we're not really adults. We're just like we're still children in adults' bodies, right? Because we haven't done the healing work yet. So that's a conversation for like another time. But I really want y'all to start to really empower yourselves to start that intentional journey. When I mean by intentional, put a year limit, okay? if you are into astrology, look at your astrology chart, figure out when it's going to be the best time to do the healing work that you need to do, okay? So then, you can heal yourself to the point where you say, I'm healed, I am healed. That's the other thing. If you are on your healing journey, I want you to start saying that more often. I am healed, okay? Stop saying I'm on my healing journey or I am healing. I'm not saying stop saying it. If you need to say it, say it. If you really feel you're in that state, go ahead. But if you're one of those people who's been saying that for years, I really want to empower you to now switch your language so that your body can kind of catch up to the state where you're meant to be, where that healing journey is now in the past. And now you are at a point where you are healed and you are really attracting abundance and attracting this limitless reality that we all have the ability to tap into. It's so important. One of the things that's really going to help a lot of y'all with healing trauma, right, is emotional processing, okay? Now, again, like I said earlier, if y'all want the fast track, tapping into what you're passionate about and just focusing on that for the majority, like putting the majority of your attention on your passion, that's really going to help you accelerate that process. But again, for those of y'all who feel like you need to do some processing, some emotional processing, it's okay, I got you. So you want to start doing emotional processing, but you don't just want to like do the emotional processing. You also want to do the work and you want to apply what you learn. You want to learn the tools that's going to help you kind of not get back into that lower energy state, right? Because we need to be at that high energy state in order to tap into, again, a limitless reality. And this means different for different people, right? For some of y'all, it's gonna mean like tapping into those psychic abilities, those supernatural abilities. For others of y'all, it's gonna look like, tapping into that abundance reality, right? And just like really living like your dream life, basically. So, where was I going with this? So when it comes to emotional processing, this is really going to help y'all because it's going to help you guys not get into a lower energy state, right? So when we get triggered, right? When we get like emotionally triggered by something somebody said, usually it's not really us that's triggered, it's our ego that's triggered. So you have to like bring awareness to that. And one of the things that really helps is if you could like separate yourself from your ego, right? So if somebody says something that triggered you or that you felt like judged by or something, you need to separate yourself, be like, they're not judging me, they're judging my ego. So we're going to put that to the side for now. And we're going to get back to it later if I feel the need to, right? Okay. So if you need to do that extra reflection, you can do that. But for a lot of y'all who are watching, you might have already done some of this work, right? So it's just so you might be at the point where you need to just start practicing it. Okay. You've done the work, you've done the deep dive, you've done the journaling, you've been to the retreats. Now it's time to apply what you learned and practice it so you can really shift your state, right? But it's super important, y'all. Like, you really need to start to do that. You need to look into your emotional processing. I'm telling y'all right now, it is like, it will like do wonders for you. It'll do wonders for you. So that's with getting triggered. So that's one thing. A lot of y'all might even need anchors. That's another one, an emotional anchor, which is like something that you use to kind of ground yourself, right? When you know you're gonna get triggered. So like if you work in a toxic work environment, you know you're gonna get triggered when you get there. You need to make sure you bring an anchor with you to work to kind of get you back to that peaceful state. And like I said, if you're able to somehow tap into your passion at work, it'll help you get from a peaceful state to like a higher vibrational state, okay? But again, this is all gonna help you guys. Healing trauma, like I said, like when I work with my clients, this is one of the biggest blocks to their abilities. Like, it's one of the biggest blocks. And again, and I don't want to say like it's not that they haven't addressed the trauma, it's the fact that they have addressed it and they're done with it. They're done with the process. They're done with the healing process. They're like, I've been doing this for years now. I'm ready to really heighten my energy. So that's what I've really excelled at, is getting people out of that state when they're ready, right? You have to be ready. That's the other thing too. When they're ready and willing, that's like the two big things too. Some people, they think they're ready. They start to state that they're ready. But when it starts to get into like the work they got to do, they start to be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm really, but I'm really ready to make that shift or that change. But that's the thing. That's like the biggest obstacle that I see a lot of people have. They don't trust God. Like, at the end of the day, they really don't trust God. Like, that's one of the things. Like when you are ready to shift and change, and when God is telling you to let go of something, and y'all know what I mean, right? Because you'll get like several people telling you this. When God is telling you to like let go of something, you have to just trust God to like to support you when you let go of that, when you let go of that comfort zone, right? Because a lot of y'all are stuck in that comfort zone. You got to get uncomfortable to really change your state and to heighten your vibration. Like you really have to change your state. Like it's not change your state, but you've got to make that change. You've got to start to get a little bit uncomfortable. So one way to do that is take cold showers. Personally, I don't like cold showers. So my little like, if I do this, my little compromise is I'll just like splash like cold water in my face. Or, you know, since I'm in a hot location, if it's really hot outside, I'll like just jump into like a cold pool. For me, that's enough. The whole ice bath thing, I'm not really ready for that yet. I got friends who do it though, but one day. But you want to change your energy state, okay? So one of the things that I use to do this is exercise, but like a really like challenging, difficult exercise, right? So for me, like sprints really help with this. Just doing sprints really helps me get into like a heightened energy state. It changes my state. And then also like that's when I get so many downloads, like especially if it's like a good focused run, I get a lot of downloads from running. So if that's something that interests you, do that. But y'all just basically you gotta choose one. Choose one that works for you, right? For me, the ice plunge, not really ready for that yet. But for me, exercising, I can stick with that. I can make sure that that's my time to really like tap into myself and tap into my heightened energy state. Okay, so I can really start to live a limitless life, right? But I really wanted to talk about just trusting God and trusting the process, right? That's the other thing. When it comes to healing trauma, a lot of people, I don't want to put this, they just make the mistake. Well, they make two mistakes. The first mistake is that they say that it's going to be an easy thing, right? And I think it can be easy if you're willing to get uncomfortable. That's the key. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable, whether it's like, and this is different for different people, right? But for example, like if you go to therapy and you're not comfortable telling a stranger like, you know, your life story, that's going to be the thing that's going to either keep you in therapy for years or keep you in therapy for a couple of months. Like that's the truth. So you have to be willing. So for some of y'all, that's going to be your discomfort. That's going to be what you're going to have to like overcome in order to tap into that abundance, in order to tap into a limitless reality. Like it's so important to do that. So y'all have to get uncomfortable. That's it. There's no way around it too. I think there's a lot of like, I think it's less now, but I remember like 5 years ago when I started doing this work publicly, like, you know, on social media, a lot of people like would talk about manifestation, creating your reality, and living I don't think anybody really talked about living limitlessly, but when it comes to like manifesting abundance, right, that's like the one thing that people are super focused, or we're super focused on. When it comes to that, a lot of people didn't talk about the discomfort part. And so even like before like I started my teachings, when I started to like tap into abundance, because I didn't know about that, a lot of the stuff that I was trying to manifest didn't manifest because I wasn't getting uncomfortable, or well, yeah, that really didn't last long with me though. I think there was 1 month where I was like, okay, like I need to just get uncomfortable every single day. So every single day I did something that scared me, and that actually helped me like quantum leap. So that's kind of a hack for quantum leaping for those of y'all who are interested. But anyway, my point is you need to get uncomfortable. You need to change. Like you need to change. You need to tap into that creation energy, right? Again, y'all know my teachings. God is creation, right? We are made in the, what is the saying? We are made in the eyes of the creator, right? We are creation itself. So we need to tap into that energy. Creation is constant change, right? When you look at the clouds, they're constantly changing. They never stay the same, never. So you really need to tap into that energy if you want to start to live a limitless lifestyle, and a limitless, not even lifestyle, but a limitless reality, okay? That's what we get into with these teachings. That's what we get into when we talk about psychic abilities, supernatural powers. Like, we are here to live in a limitless reality. So we really need to tap into that. But It's going to take some discomfort. It's going to take really facing your shadows too. That's the other big thing. And for those of y'all, you might need to face those shadows with somebody. Like that's like another big thing. Is they, you know, when you face it with somebody, it's going to help you kind of, I don't know, ease into the discomfort instead of kind of just jumping, like, you know, I guess head first, diving head first into the waters. But it's really important to also do the work with somebody, because it'll help you kind of, it'll help you get a reality check, right? I feel like sometimes when we do some of this work by ourselves, we need a reality check, right? So that's why it's really important to work with somebody one-on-one, and to really like work with somebody one-on-one who you trust, or who you know is going to be at, or is at the state that you would like to be, that is living the life, the limitless reality that you want to live at, okay? And remember that a limitless reality, that this comes in so many different forms. It's not just like about the money matrix. Like people get that messed up too. There's times like I lived in like luxury houses, like really big, like mansions, right? And when I lived there, like it wasn't because I had millions of dollars in my bank. It was just because I was really tapped into that abundance mindset. And I still am now. There's so many different ways to get to the reality that you want. So you just have to be open to the many different options, okay? And not just that, you also, what was that? Okay. And not just that, you also need to, you know, like learn to get uncomfortable and just trust. That's the biggest thing. Again, people really miss this. You gotta trust. You gotta trust at the end of the day. That's like the most important thing. People don't trust God. Like people say they, you know, they love God. Like me and God are like this, which is, we ain't gonna get into that conversation right now. I'm laughing because like I met a lot of people who say that, and I feel like you and God need to be like this, not like this. We ain't gonna get into it. But my point is, people say that, you know, they love God, they trust God, but they haven't really like, it's like those moments where your faith is tested. Like they haven't really dived into that aspect. And so for a lot of y'all trying to live in a limitless reality, like y'all really need to start just trusting God more. Take little leaps of faith, okay? If you need to take baby leaps of faith, go ahead and do that, okay, before the big jump. But I'm telling y'all, like every time I took a leap of faith, every time like I've you know, seen the realities of my environment, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. I don't know, you know, what's gonna happen, but I know I need to be here. I know I need to do this. And I just did it. Every single time I was met with support by the universe. Every single time I was met with support by God. Like, but you have to trust. Like if I didn't trust God to support me, then it's like, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here like where I'm at right now. Like, I wouldn't be here. Like, that's the truth. That's the truth. And so you have to take those leaps of faith. That's like the biggest thing. I think people, especially in Western societies, we think that like, you know, being comfortable, and when I say comfortable, it's like having that 9 to 5, having that job, having the car, having the house. We think that like being in that state is what's going to have us like live in a limitless reality, or attract the limitless reality that we all deserve, right? But it's not that. Actually, it's really getting uncomfortable, taking a risk, and then just trusting the universe to support you no matter what. Okay, that's like, but again, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest obstacle I see a lot of people have when it comes to any shift in their reality, is they don't know how to start to communicate with God that like, you know, I trust you. I'm gonna make this decision, which a lot of people are telling me, like, not telling me not to make, but you know, my ego is telling me like, no, that's not, you know, that's not what we should do, because this is comfortable. Like where I'm at right now is comfortable. We know how to, you know, work with this program. We know how to deal with these people. We know how to stay in this reality. This is what's comfortable right now. If we make that change, it's going to be uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Right. And so, but that's the ego talking, right? That's the ego. And so you really have to like start to just trust God more than your ego. That's like the biggest thing. And so, of course, like you could experience ego death. I know a lot of people do that through plant medicine, or fungi medicine, whatever you want to call it. But you don't have to do that. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I've met people with these abilities who truly live in a limitless reality. They don't do any of that. It's not necessary. It's just not necessary. But you do have to figure out ways to really tell God that you trust God. Like you just got to figure out the ways to do that. And for every single person, it's different. It's completely different. It's gonna look like different things to different people. Okay, like it's yeah. That's the other thing too. Like I feel like a lot of I don't know, psychic healers, people in the spiritual community or the conscious community, like I prefer, but they talk about, you know, this like kind of one size fits all method to help healing people's traumas and getting them into a limitless reality. And I just don't think that's the case, because like if that were the case, then like God would have made us like all the same, and we definitely not all the same, right? We all very different people. We are very different beings in our own right. So you really need to tap into that energy and just recognize that, and work with people that recognize that too. There's a lot of people who, like I said, like they take that one size fits all method, and that's not it. Everybody has a different way of doing this. And that's what I really want to encourage y'all to kind of look into too, is like start to build your own pathways and roads. Like take the road less taken. There's a better way of saying that, but take the path less followed. I think that's what it is. And if I think this way, I think everybody can get to that limitless reality even faster than if we all take the same path. Okay. But again, you got to work with somebody who recognizes this. A lot of people out there don't recognize this. Okay. I'm telling you, it's so much faster too. People take like 10, 20 years to get to where they need to be. And that's because they're trying to take the same path as everybody else. But if you take a different path, if you create your own path, you're going to get to those shortcuts, okay? And you're going to get to those shortcuts so you can get to the end like even faster, okay? And this is like referring to like not just like abundance and that limitless reality, but also when it comes to like healing your trauma too, right? Your healing is going to look so much different than your friend's healing, okay? Like it doesn't, like in my opinion, it doesn't have to be, I won't say it doesn't have to be, but like it's just different for everybody, right? So you really want to, like I said, you just want to find the right thing that fits you. You want to work with somebody that recognizes this so they can create a custom way for you to heal your trauma so you can start to live in that limitless reality, okay? But I'm telling y'all right now, the biggest thing that I said like in this video is going to be the trust part. You just need to trust God. A lot of people don't do that, but you need to trust God. Like truly trust, know what that is. People don't know what that is. But you got to really trust God, and you got to really allow yourself to get uncomfortable, okay? And I would say try to do that once a week, okay? At a minimum, try to do it once a week. Like every Monday, I'm gonna get uncomfortable in some way, and that's a great way to actually make your Mondays exciting too, right? Because Mondays seems to be a drag. It's like, oh my God, I have to go back to work. But that could be a really great way to like kind of pick up your Monday. So, and you know, I know it's Sunday, so now for some of y'all in the States, okay, tomorrow, do one thing that makes you uncomfortable. That's your homework. Seriously, okay? There's a reason why I stream on Sundays. Do that on Monday, okay? This is gonna be super important. It's gonna change, it's gonna shift your whole reality, like without you even trying. That's the other thing too. A lot of people, like, they try too hard, but if you can just do one thing that makes you uncomfortable and kind of stick with that rhythm and just keep on doing that like more and more, consistently, you're gonna start to see like effortless shifts within your reality without you doing a manifestation like ceremony, without you going to somebody else asking them like, hey, like what do I need to change? But like that's one way to do that, okay? So excuse me. So that's gonna be it for today, because I actually streamed a little bit late today. I have a client that I have to go to after this, but I love y'all so much. I hope y'all learned from this. Please, 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 like I said, find somebody that you want to work with. But make sure, when you work with an expert, please make sure that they give you work to do after, okay? Don't just like go into the session. Yeah, just go into the session with intention. That's what I'm gonna say. And make sure they give you some homework to do after consistently. That's really gonna help you shift. And that's personable to you, okay? That's the other thing. Make sure that it's homework specifically for you, okay? I guess there's not really a way to make sure of that, but it's just really important, because like I said, there's a lot of people out here who are giving general information to people in terms of like healing and shifting their realities. And in my humble opinion, Everybody's different. So everybody needs a different way of shifting their reality. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all on Wednesday. Yeah, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Okay. Peace.